The twin suns of Velmora 4 rose slowly over the dusty plains, casting golden light across fields of grain swaying like silver waves in the morning breeze. Isaac Reeve wiped the sweat from his brow and straightened his aching back, admiring the smooth rows of harvest-ready Tarkan wheat. For a man who had once fled Earth with nothing but a seed packet and a dream, he had built something honest here, quiet, simple, and entirely his. Velmora 4 was a fringe colony world, unclaimed by the major interstellar empires. It attracted outcasts, exiles, and wanderers like Isaac. The only law was self-reliance, and the only company he kept were a few neighboring settlers and a rusted old farm drone named Manny. That was until the sky broke open one night. Isaac had been tending to his irrigation conduits when a brilliant streak of light tore across the twilight sky. It shrieked like a falling god and crashed beyond the ridge, sending up a plume of smoke and flame. Against his better judgment, Isaac jumped on his rover and rode into the dark. What he found wasn't wreckage. Not exactly. Half buried in red sand was a sleek, silver pod unlike anything he'd seen. It hissed open as he approached, and the scent of jasmine and ozone hit him like a wall. Then she stepped out. Radiant. Terrifying. She had skin like obsidian laced with faint glowing lines, and her hair shimmered like liquid amethyst. Her eyes were starfields, pupils ringed with alien glyphs. She wore a torn ceremonial robe of indigo and gold, and despite the dirt and burns, she held herself like royalty. "Where am I?" she asked, collapsing into his arms. The princess. Her name was Alenia Teshvarine, crown heiress of the Empire of Sahari Prime, a civilization so advanced that Isaac had only heard of them in whispers at trader outposts. Her ship had been sabotaged during a political coup. She barely escaped alive. Isaac brought her to his modest homestead. For the next week, he tended to her wounds and fed her from his stores. He didn't ask questions. He didn't gawk. He just helped. To him, she was just another lost soul needing a place to rest. But Alenia watched him closely. She marveled at his simplicity. The way he spoke to his crops, the gentleness in his calloused hands, the way he greeted dawn with reverence. She came from a world of politics and war, of alliances sealed with blood. Isaac Reeve offered her something different. One evening, as he returned from the fields, he found her standing barefoot on the porch, staring at the horizon. "I miss my people," she said softly. "But I dread returning." Isaac said nothing. Instead, he handed her a cup of warm grain tea and sat beside her. "You don't ask who I really am. I figure if you wanted me to know, you'd tell me." Her lips curled into a faint smile. "You're unlike anyone I've met." He shrugged. "I'm just a farmer." She looked at him, then really looked. "Maybe. But I think you were meant to be more." The Empire comes. 2 weeks later, the Empire arrived. A massive ship blacked out the sky, descending with the force of a god. Alenia's tracker, hidden in her escape pod, had activated when she awoke. A retrieval team emerged, armed and clad in obsidian armor. They bowed low before her. "Your Highness," one of them intoned, "we've come to bring you home." Alenia's face hardened. She turned to Isaac, standing at the base of the porch with a hoe in one hand and a smudge of dirt on his cheek. The look in her eyes was complicated. Pain, duty, and something deeper. "I have to go," she said. "I know," he replied quietly. But as she stepped toward the Imperial shuttle, she paused. "I choose him," she declared. The soldiers stiffened. "Princess, I choose him as my mate." Silence fell like a stone. Isaac blinked. "Wait, what?" Alenia faced her people. "By Sahari law, I may choose my own consort once I come of age." That time is now. This man saved me. He protected me without knowing who I was. He has no empire, no fleet, but he has a soul worth 10 kings. Isaac's mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. Alenia, you don't. I do. Her voice was regal now, commanding. This farmer is the only one I trust. The lead soldier bowed again, slower this time. As you command, your radiance. Adjustments. Life changed quickly. Within days, Imperial engineers descended upon Isaac's homestead. The fields were preserved, but the house was upgraded into a shimmering fusion of rustic wood and alien alloys. Gardens floated. Water flowed uphill. Alenia remained by Isaac's side, insisting that her royal responsibilities could be fulfilled remotely. For now, she introduced him to strange customs, royal tutors, and alien dances. But Isaac never stopped farming, even as he wore fine robes and was addressed as Consort Reeve. He rose at dawn to till the soil with Manny, whistling to his crops. And the people noticed. News spread across Sahari space of the human farmer who humbled generals, refused courtly pleasures, and walked barefoot through palace halls. Where others would wield power, Isaac wielded kindness. Where others sought dominion, he sought growth. The people loved him for it. And Alenia, she blossomed beside him. She laughed more. She argued about plant nutrition. She even tried to cook, poorly. Their bond deepened not through ceremony, but through shared mornings, whispered stargazing, and hands entwined in the dark. The revolt. But not all were pleased. Lord Ishal, the cousin responsible for the sabotage of her ship, declared the union an insult to Sahari bloodlines. A low-born dirt scraper cannot rule beside our princess. He sneered before gathering rogue nobles and fleets to his side. The empire was at the brink of civil war. Isaac stood beside Alenia in the Hall of Starlight, the imperial court filled with murmurs and veiled threats. I never asked for this, he muttered. I know, Alenia said, gripping his hand. But they'll listen to you. They believe in you. I believe in you. He looked out at the assembly. Alien aristocrats, planetary delegates, admirals. And then the farmer spoke. I am not a king. I don't care about your titles. But I do know this. The soil doesn't care who you are when you plant a seed. It gives back only what you give to it. If you water it with hate, it rots. But if you tend it with care, he looked at Alenia. It grows into something beautiful. There was silence. Then applause. First hesitant, then thunderous. But Ishal was not moved by words. The Battle of the Fields. The traitor's fleet descended on Velmora 4 days later, hoping to strike Isaac's home as a symbol. But they had underestimated what the princess had built, and who she had chosen. Isaac, refusing to flee, stood atop his farmhouse with a plasma rifle, unused but ready. Beside him stood Alenia in battle armor, blazing with ancestral glyphs. Around them, settlers and loyalists rallied, bolstered by messages of unity Isaac had unknowingly inspired. What was meant to be a quick slaughter turned into a rout. Farmers became warriors. Civilians became legends. Even Manny the farm drone launched a surprise ambush, spraying pesticide in a traitor's face. Alenia led the final charge, but it was Isaac who disarmed Ishal, not with strength but with mercy. Kill me, the traitor spat. Isaac shook his head. Killing you plants nothing but bitterness. And I won't let that grow in my soil. Ishal wept, not out of fear but shame. A new future. Months passed. The Sahari Empire stabilized. Isaac and Alenia were formally wed beneath